Hello and welcome to my Coding at Middle School class. There are just a few supplies I'd like you to bring every day to class. First is a 2-pocket folder just to hold any paper that I hand out. I am hoping to go paperless in this class, so hopefully not too much will be there, but I would like you to bring that with you. Also, make sure you have some loose leaf paper in there just so that you have paper if we need it. So please make sure that's in there. If you want to just bring a spiral notebook, that's fine. Just one subject should be good. Also, make sure you have some earbuds or headphones with your standard headphone jack, just so that when your programs make some noise, we're all not hearing it. So please make sure you have some earbuds. And lastly, something to write with. So a few pencils or pens, doesn't really matter, but make sure you always have something to write with. Also, some wish list items. Pretty please, if you can. I would love it if every student brought in a box of tissues. This is always a problem every year. Especially during hay fever season or when people get colds. I run out. I go through a couple of boxes a week, so tissues would be awesome. The other thing that tends to be a little bit of a problem is people forgetting to bring pens or pencils. So if you can donate 2 or 3 pencils for the year, that would be amazing. Thank you in advance for those of you who do this. So some more important stuff here, attendance. It is very important that you come to class. Unlike other classes, it's actually difficult to make up this class if you are absent. This is a class where you learn by doing. So if you're not here, there isn't a lot I can leave you to try and catch up with at home. It's all you have to try things. And if you're here, you can ask questions or look for hints. That is really hard to do if you're at home and just trying to catch up. Please come to class. If you are absent, it is an absolute expectation that you are checking Google Classroom. All assignments and projects will be in there. You are expected to not only know what the assignments are, but to have at least tried some of these projects that are in there. Critically important. If this is not something you are able to do, you're going to have a big problem in here. Which leads to the next thing we need to talk about, which is good news. We do not have a lot of homework in this class. Everything you do, almost everything you do, will be done in class. So that, again, is why it's very important to come to class. Now, on occasion, there might be some homework, and when I do give homework, do it. It is a strong expectation you do it. You'll get a small little formative grade in there, but nonetheless, that's points that you can get just by doing your homework. And it's just graded for completeness. So please do homework if you have it. But again, there will not be a lot of homework in here. In addition to not having homework, we actually don't have a lot of tests, or at least not traditional tests like you do in other class. So it's all great news. There'll be a couple of formative type things, some checkpoints or maybe small quizzes, some other small graded work just to make sure you're getting some of the main ideas. But mostly your grade is going to be based on these coding projects. So it all comes back to please come to class. Everything you need to do will be in class. Very little is something that you can do at home to catch up with. So come to class, and I think you're going to have a really awesome time because it's not very pressury. It's just let's try different things and learn how to code, and you're just graded on how those projects come out. We do need to talk a little bit about rules in this class. I have a high expectation on everybody following these rules. I need you here on time with all your supplies, folder, paper in the folder, earbuds, something to write with. Be prepared. I also hold in high regard being respectful, not only student to teacher, but student to student. We respect each other. I also hold honesty in very high regard. I'd much rather you be honest with me than make up some story about why you didn't do something or whatever. Please be tidy. Don't put garbage in desks or laying around. Leave the room better than when you found it. This year, cell phones are not permitted in classes unless otherwise directed by the teacher, so make sure they are off and away in your locker. When that bell rings, you don't just get up and go. You wait till I dismiss you. We have equipment that needs to be put away, so you just don't get to walk out. The biggest rule I have is that you are not disturbing yours or anybody else's learning. If you are doing anything, that disturbs yours or anyone else's learning, a rule has been broken, and consequences will occur if a single warning is not enough to have you back on the right path. If you're using one of my devices, I expect you to treat it with absolute respect. Anybody not treating these devices with respect will not be permitted to use them. The one you are assigned for the day, that's the one you're using. You're not on somebody else's. Very, very important rule. There is absolutely no food, no gum, no candy, nothing that can be eaten or permitted in this classroom. No drinks other than water, and it must be capped. So your only time that cap is off is if you're actually taking a drink of the water. Otherwise, it is capped. We have a lot of expensive equipment here. I cannot have that destroyed because you are not being respectful of equipment. So no food or drink. I also have a large number of students with severe allergies. So please think of other people that you are not bringing food or drink. I will absolutely have you remove that. And if it's a repeat offense, there will be consequences for sure. If you do need to leave the room for a bathroom break or other breaks that require you to leave the room, I do have passes in the back. I also have a sign out log. You must sign out in the back. Take one of those passes as quickly as you can. Do the task, go to the restroom or wherever it is you need to go. When you come back in, it is essential you sign back in. Don't lose that pass that I give you, or else nobody else gets to leave the room. These logbooks are extra important. The deans have asked us to do this. This is how we know where you are at all times. Also, if there is an issue, we kind of know who's been out, who's been in. It's very, very important. If you cannot do this, you will not be permitted to leave the room. It bears repeating that you are expected to find all the resources you need in Google Classroom. It's an expectation that you're using all the resources I provide before you start asking questions. You're looking over what you already have. Please use Google Classroom. Everything will be in there. I also have a remind texting tool, and on my webpage I have directions on how to join. If you are under the age of 13, it's your parents who need to join. I'll be honest, I'm not going to use Remind a whole lot in this particular class, but it's there, and it's mostly if there's some sort of emergency. Maybe there's a snow day and you're not sure what that means, but most of the time in this class I'm probably not using Remind, so maybe not to worry about that too much. I know that it's not a whole lot of fun to talk about rules. I did give you all a handout that if you lose that handout, there is a copy in Google Classroom, just if you need a reminder, or you can watch this video again. Behavior is extremely important in here. We're working with expensive equipment, like I said before. If you are unable to behave in an appropriate manner, and you've been in school a long time now, you know what that means. Do remember this is an elective class, meaning you don't have to take it. So if you're not having a good time, and we should know that within the first week or so that this may or may not be for you, we can absolutely talk to a counselor and your parents and see if perhaps there's a better elective suited for you. I really want to have a great time in here. If this is not a class for you, let's rectify that problem early on. Enough. That's a lot of information at one time. I fully expect that we're going to have an amazing year in here. Coding can be so much fun, especially for people who love to problem solve. So when you're sitting in math class and you love those word problems and you can't wait to look for different ways to fix things, you are absolutely going to love it in here. I look forward to having an amazing, great year.